Once upon a time, not so long ago, there was a little girl, and her name was Emily. And she had a shop. There it is. It was rather an unusual shop because it didn't sell anything. You see, everything in that shop window was a thing that somebody had once lost, and Emily had found, and brought home to Bagpuss. Emily's cat, Bagpuss. The most important, the most beautiful, the most magical, saggy old cloth cat in the whole wide world. Well now, one day Emily found a thing. And she brought it back to the shop and put it down in front of Bagpuss, who was in the shop window, fast asleep as usual. But then Emily said some magic words. Bagpuss, dear Bagpuss, old fat furry catpuss, wake up and look at this thing that I bring. Wake up, be bright, be golden and light. Bagpuss, oh hear what I sing. And Bagpuss was wide awake. And when Bagpuss wakes up, all his friends wake up too. The mice on the mouse organ woke up and stretched. Madeleine, the rag doll. Gabriel, the toad.
Oh, look, look.
And last of all, Professor Yaffle, who was a very distinguished old woodpecker. He climbed down off his bookend and went to see what it was that Emily had brought.
That is nothing but a rotten old bottle. There may be something inside it, but I can't see what it is because it's too dirty.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. We will wash it, we will flush it, bring the bucket and mop, mop, mop. We will dust it, we will brush it, we will polish it, top, top, top. We will wash it, we will splash it, bring the bucket and mop, mop, mop. We will dust it, we will brush it, we will polish it, top, top, top. We will polish it, top, top, top.
The mice scrubbed and polished the bottle until it shone. Then Professor Yaffle could see what was inside it.
Inside that bottle, there are some broken scraps of old wood and bits of cloth. I don't know why they're there.
So, of course, the only thing to do was to open the bottle.
Come on, little Charlie Mouse. Come on, everybody. Shove him in the pluggle hole. Push, push.
Madeleine the rag doll didn't like that.
Stop! Oh, stop, stop! You're hurting poor Charlie Mouse. Take him out at once. That's right. Now, all you have to do is turn the bottle upside down. Then the things will just fall out.
There are the things, look. Just a heap of scraps. Now, I wonder what that lot was doing in a bottle.
Nip, nip. That was once a ship. A ship in a bottle.
Bagpuss was amazed.
A ship? In a bottle? There's what? I mean, what's it doing in a bottle? Where could it sail to? Who could possibly sail in it? It would be much too small.
Oh, I don't know. I've heard of some very small ships. I know of a ship that had mice for sailors. All right, all right. a ship a-sailing on the sea, and oh, but it was laden with pretty things for thee. There were comforts in the cabin and apples in the hold. The sails were made of silk and the masts were made of gold. The 24 sailors that stood between the decks were 24 white mice with chains around their necks. The captain was a duck with a packet on his back, and when the ship began to move, the captain said quack, 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 quack.
What a silly song.
No, it's not a silly song. It's a nice song. My sailor's nice song.
Well, I think it's a silly song. It doesn't even make sense.
Look, the mice have got an organ roll for it. Let's sing it again.
The marvelous mechanical mouse organ.
I saw a ship a-sailing on the sea, and oh, but it was laden with pretty things for thee.
There were comfits in the cabin and apples in the hold. The sails were made of silk and the masts were made of gold.
The 24 sailors that stood between the decks were 24 white mice with chains around their necks. The captain was a duck with a packet on his back, and when the ship began to move, the captain said quack, 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 quack.
That's all very well. All that singing and dancing, yes, that's fun. But this ship is still broken. The pieces are just as they were, look. Now, what we need is a story. A magic story. A magic story that will put it together again. Bagpuss.
Huh?
Bagpuss, you must think of a magic story that will put little broken ships together again.
Oh. All right then. But I shall need a thinking cap.
Come on, let's win a cup. Come on, mice. Come on, come on. There must be one somewhere. It must be here. Yes, here's one. A captain's cap. Here's a Captain Bagpuss cap.
Oh, yes, my old sea captain's cap. Yes, I can think in that. Thank you.
So Bagpuss thought. He thought so hard, his thoughts appeared like magic.
Ah, yes. I remember a story. It all happened a long time ago, when I was a sea captain and sailed the 7 seas. I steered my stout 2-masted ship before the western breeze. One day, the breeze forgot to blow. The sea was still, the day was fine. Without a wind we could not go, so I fetched up my rod and line and settled down to fish. Yes, well, there was nothing else to do, you know. When the wind doesn't blow, the ship doesn't go. But I was Captain Bagpuss. I knew the thing to do. I tied a pearl to the end of the string and baited it with glue. That way I caught a mermaid. A pretty child was she. She sat on my lap in the boatswain's cap, and we all drank China tea. We talked for a while, and I said with a smile, "May I ask you a favor, dear, please? If I give you this pearl, will you be a good girl and send us a westerly breeze?" Delighted, she cried, and jumped over the side, and she dived with a flick of her tail. But the breeze that she sent was not quite what we meant, for she sent us a terrible gale. The poor ship was tossed, and some pieces got lost, and the wind blew away our best sail. And then came a thump and a crash and a bump, just as if we had tripped over a whale. It wasn't, of course, it was something far worse. we had hit this great island of rocks, and our ship was all smashed and we were all dashed on the shore without any dry socks. The storm ended at last, and the mermaid came past, and she said she was ever so sorry, but it wasn't too tragic, she'd do some more magic, and we would have no need to worry. Then all of the mermaids, for miles all around, went diving and swimming until they had found every piece of our ship from the keel to the tip, and laid them all out in a heap on the ground. Then the mermaids began a most beautiful song, and the song they were singing was magic and strong. The effect was unusual but true, for the pieces of ship began to jump and to skip, and soon they were dancing and waltzing and prancing and twirling and whirling and squeaking and creaking and stringing and ringing and fitting together in time with the measure, till when it was ended the whole thing was mended. The ship was as perfect as new. Did the magic work?
There was the ship beside the bottle, quite perfect. It had been mended by Bagpuss's magic story. All they had to do now was put it back in its bottle, and the whole thing would be as good as the day it was made. Hi, just a minute. That ship's too tall. That would never go through the neck of that bottle.
No, too tall, too small,
Yep. It's perfectly simple. Ships in bottles have folding masts. You fold the masts flat, and then, after the ship is in the bottle, you pull the masts up with a piece of cotton, which is part of the rigging. Oh, so that's how they put ships into bottles. What a clever old bird that woodpecker is. Of course. Now, come on, mice. Fold the masts carefully. That's right. Now, into the bottle with it. Good. Now, very gently, pull on the cotton. Gently. That's right. Now, all we need is a dab of glue on the front of the ship to fix the cotton. How are you going to do that?
Come on, Charlie, come on, give us glue. That's right.
Very good. Now put in the cork, and it's done.
Push.
And there it was, as good as new. The mice dragged the bottle to the front of the window and left it there, so that if the person it really belonged to should happen to come past, they would see it there and come in to collect it. And so their work was done. Bagpuss gave a big yawn and settled down to sleep. And of course, when Bagpuss goes to sleep, all his friends go to sleep too. The mice were ornaments on the mouse organ. Gabriel and Madeleine were just dolls. And Professor Yaffle was a carved wooden bookend in the shape of a woodpecker. Even Bagpuss himself, once he was asleep, was just an old, saggy cloth cat. Baggy and a bit loose at the seams. But Emily loved him.